All right, we should be good to go early here in the morning on this Thursday morning. Wow, hopefully y'all are doing well. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. What a great day to be here on the live stream and to be in the morning show. Hopefully y'all are doing well, and welcome back to another YouTube live stream. I'm your host ClassE at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description and also in the pinned comment in the chat. Please make sure you guys go over and subscribe to our brand new channel, Jury of Your Peers. If you haven't checked it out, we've got live court coverage over there. We will be live streaming some stuff over on the channel today, and make sure you guys go over there and check out the new channel as well. Speaking of channels, please make sure you subscribe to Amy's channel as well. The link is in the description. We'll also drop it in the chat for you. But before I get into all that, we've got a lot to talk about today. You saw the title of the video. We're talking about Alan Jackson withdrawing from representing Nick Reiner. Now, the reason behind that is somewhat known, but there's still a lot of questions and a lot of information we're going to find out is happening behind the scenes with this entire situation. But before I get into that, we gotta say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Of course, we've got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E is up in here, reminding y'all to like the video. As always, and being amazing, make sure y'all go subscribe to the channel. Taco Tuesday is in here on a Thursday. We got Les Cleaver in here, A Fitz, Virginia Wiley's in the building as well, dropping the ones for me. I appreciate it. Now, y'all know I don't ask for much on this channel, but the number one thing I ask you every single show and beg that you do is like the video. It's free. It takes less than a second to do, and it lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, this channel, this entire live stream with more people. So thank you to the nearly 600 of you that have liked the video so far. I appreciate it. Helps us out a lot. And also to anyone who's feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. Just click the share button. It's got an arrow that's curved pointing to the right. It allows you to share the video to Facebook, Instagram, X, any social media platform you're on, and you can even share it through text message. And then of course I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. This is going to be a quick show. So make sure y'all stay locked in, because we've got several topics we're going to get into that I know you all will find interesting. So thank you again to those of you just joining us and liking the video. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. So we've been covering what happened in this Nick Reiner situation. And of course, we had to talk about it because our guy, Alan Jackson, Action Jackson, was representing Nick Reiner. I say was because now Nick Reiner is not going to be represented by Alan Jackson. And there's a lot of speculation as to why. Alan Jackson's going to speak on it himself. We're going to get into what went down in court yesterday. And then we're actually hear some updates about why he's withdrawing, how the DA is going to move forward, and who's going to represent Nick into the rest of this case and the rest of the trial, if it even happens. Let's talk about it and see what Alan Jackson had to say.
So calling People versus Nick Reiner, case number 25 CJC F08098.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson, on behalf of Mr. Reiner, who was present in court out of custody. I'm sorry, in custody.
Thank you.
So Nick Reiner was in court.
Your Honor, we have a matter of housekeeping that I'd like to address in chambers in dealing with the 10 subpoenas that are outstanding. There are 10 current subpoenas that are outstanding. We would ask that body attachments be issued and held for each of the 10, specifically with subpoena number 4 on the list and subpoena number 10 on the list. Counsel for both of those individuals and those parties have appeared in court. They're here with us today. We have no principled objection to an extension of time for them to comply with the subpoena, but to maintain jurisdiction, we would ask that body attachments be issued.
You take the review.
I don't have a list. I'd like to get a copy, and I understand the proof of service, but I assume the court.
Is counsel for 4 and 10 present?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm not sure which number I am.
Number 10.
I'm counsel for number 10, and
So
we do
they're just
object
addressing
if
some
that
issues.
resolves the court's concerns about retaining jurisdiction. However, we see no reason, given our appearance and the fact that we are here to issue a body attachment.
And counsel for number 4?
In counsel number 10's statement, I don't see the necessity for issuing a body attachment. I too will stipulate the jurisdiction without necessarily waiving any objections we ultimately may make. But given my newness to the matter, I don't see the necessity of having a court order issued against an individual in this circumstance.
Fair enough. As to
And shout out to Alan Jackson for seeing this through. Not only is he bowing out of this for the reasons we're going to hear about shortly, but he's making sure he leaves everything set and set up for Nick to continue throughout this trial. So shout out to him, man.
Thank you, Your Honor,
Excellent
and
attorney.
just to be clear, we do also reserve all of our objections.
Yes, and so, but as to the remaining numbers, that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8, those, the court will issue body attachment and hold it until the next court date.
And 9.
And 9.
Thank you. We have no objection to counsel's representations, given the fact that both have graciously submitted to jurisdiction with regard to 4 and 10. We think that's appropriate.
Thank you. Once again, the court will issue and hold the read 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9
Thank you.
until the next hearing date. And we'll
Does the
seal,
court have a list?
it does. The court will seal that list as well.
We've asked,
People have a copy around?
we've asked that the court seal it specifically because it is ongoing defense investigative data or evidence that we recover or we get, or counsel on behalf of Mr. Reiner gets, and that is discoverable. We'll comply with all, or counsel will comply with all discovery obligations at that time.
Can you address the counsel's request to provide a copy to the people?
That's the
specifically?
point. We think that should not be done because that would implicate ongoing investigative efforts by the defense, and it would compromise Mr. Reiner's right to a fair trial and his right to maintain his investigation with some level of confidence.
And we're going to get into the defense's investigation probably the next video, because some of the things that are being found about what happened leading up to Nick Reiner deleting his mother and father are absolutely shocking. We'll get into that shortly though.
Or confidentiality, I should say.
But at this time, the court will just seal it until the next court hearing date.
Hey,
And how else would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, at this time,
Here we go.
I, on behalf of Workman Jackson and Quinn, and with Mr. Reiner's understanding and consent, would ask to withdraw as counsel of record based on the conversation that we've had in chambers and the explanation that we've provided to the court in chambers. We feel that we have no choice at this juncture but to withdraw as counsel and has to be relieved. The Public Defender's Office has been notified. We've had conversations with them. They are here. They're staffed. They're ready to take over. My understanding is they're ready for the appointment immediately, forthwith.
Now, a lot of what's being said now that Nick is going to have seemingly a public defender. Can you imagine going from having Alan Jackson to a public defender? What's being said is that the family does not or isn't going to pay for this attorney. He's not going to pay for Alan Jackson to represent him, which obviously makes sense. It's a weird situation. One, who knows how the estate's going to get settled, when that's going to get settled, how that's going to take place, who's going to get what. This man is on trial for the murder of his mother and father, which, looking at the evidence, it seems like there's a lot there to point to the fact that he did it. And even if he's found not guilty based on insanity, you still have to figure out how that's going to be set up. So no money there. Who's going to pay for it? Is his sister going to pay for it? The one that called the police? Highly doubt it. So that theory makes sense. Again, Alan Jackson's going to go into it in the press conference we'll cover after this.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kimberly Green from the Public Defender's Office. That is correct.
So the court will case, and so that firm is reviewed as counsel of record, and the court appoints the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Reiner.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The judge said, okay, we're good.
Items that they received.
We will absolutely comply with that. We've already begun. The mediation has been met.
Your Honor, there's a protective order issued by the court in place regarding the handling of discovery. Order that's remaining in place for now, and we will serve a copy of that on the Public Defender's Office along with the discovery we provide.
Yes, the court will order that order.
Preclude me from giving Mr. Balian raises a very sage point. I'm under a protective order not to provide our discovery to anybody else. That would text providing the information only to Ms. Green in her office. Then I can be in full compliance with the protective order.
Anything to the people, any response to that request?
No problem. I believe the protective order spells out that it covers Mr. Jackson's firm as well as any successor counsel.
Thank you.
So you can provide everything to Ms. Green.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Back on the record in People versus Nick Reiner, case number 25 CJC F08098.
Good morning. Kimberly Green here at the Public Defender's Office on behalf of Mr. Reiner, who is present.
Thank you.
And this is Nick Reiner's new
Good morning, Your Honor.
attorney.
Lee Balian, representing the people of the state of California.
Thank you.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, we'd ask to put over the arraignment one last time to February 23rd. That date is appropriate.
That date is fine. Court.
Thank you, and I will work with Ms. Green to get her discovery prior to that date.
I'll take a waiver for your entitled, you have a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy arraignment. Your counsel, Ms. Green from the Public Defender's Office, is requesting that your arraignment be continued to February
23rd.
23rd, 2026.
February
In
23rd.
this department, do you waive your right to be arraigned today so that your matter may be continued to February 23rd, 2026 for arraignment?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you. Is counsel joining that waiver?
I do.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment, and that his counsel of record joins in that waiver. Matter set for arraignment in this department, February 23rd, 2026. Bail remains at no bail. Anything further?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that's what we heard. Alan Jackson said, I'm going to sit this one out. Now let's hear from him on the reasons why he did that and how he thinks this case is going to go. This is very interesting.
Yeah, right here.
Good morning. As you know, my name is Alan Jackson. This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control, have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick.
Wow.
I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests as he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about
Nick
this.
is
My
broke.
team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interests. In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case, Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed of late, over the last 3 weeks. A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder.
Ooh, people aren't going to like that. But Alan Jackson said it a great way, and how we look at it on this channel. And pursuant to the law, Nick Reiner is not guilty. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment in the chat, because we talked about, once we heard about schizophrenia, once we heard about the medication, once we heard about Nick's mental health and drug abuse issues, not guilty by reason of insanity. There it is on the table. And I know that's what Alan Jackson is implying here. He's going to go into more detail.
Print that. Print that.
It's printed.
We wish him the very, very best moving forward. And that's all I have today.
Shout out to AJ, man.
Alan, anything you want us to know about Nick Reiner?
They said, what do you mean by that? He means that there was a lot of ish going on, not only with this man's medication, with his mental health, and just how the mental health system really failed him. And in some cases, he failed himself, his family failed him, and they ended up paying the ultimate price, which is really sad to see. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments and in the chat. We're going to go forward and hear from the district attorney and from his new representation as well. There's a lot going on in this case. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Thank y'all for the love. We got 6,000 people in here early this morning. Crazy. Thank y'all for being here, for showing love. That is amazing. And thank all of you. We're almost at 100% likes on this video, on this live stream. Thank y'all for doing that. It means a lot. All right, so let's move forward, and we're actually going to hear from the district attorney. We're going to hear from Nick's new representation and see how they feel about this. So I'm going to hear the rest of this. Let me skip ahead a little bit. This is his new attorney.
Ricardo Garcia, Los Angeles County Public Defender. I'm here with Kimberly Green, the Deputy Public Defender assigned to the Reiner case. I want to say that on behalf of the entire Public Defender's Office, we are incredibly sorry and understand the pain and suffering that the Reiner family is going through at this time, as well as the entire Los Angeles community. The Public Defender's Office and the entire staff, our hearts at this time go out to the entire family. We hope that the community will also understand that this is a challenging time for the entire legal process. We ask for your patience, your understanding as we navigate this process through the legal system, and that we will be available as we can be to address your questions when appropriate. Thank you. We learned, I believe, last night or yesterday that we were being substituted in.
Wow.
I'm going to let Ms. Green answer that.
Briefly this morning, but we haven't had a chance to discuss anything. I spoke to Mr. Reiner briefly this morning.
I think this is going to be an easy win for the Public Defender's Office. All they have to do is not mess this up, because hearing what we're hearing and knowing what we know about Nick Reiner and his mental health care, we're going to talk about it more in a second. This is a slam dunk when it comes to a not guilty, especially by reason of insanity, if I've ever seen one.
He was understanding that there was going to be a change in counsel. We haven't had any in-depth conversations. I have not.
His former attorney says he's not guilty.
We'll discuss that with Mr. Reiner and see how to proceed. Not at all. It's not uncommon for private counsel to turn over cases to us, so no, nothing about that would complicate the situation. I have talked to him for only 30 minutes, so I have no idea. I only spoke to Mr. Reiner for about 30 seconds this morning. I have no comment about his mental state. I have not. We've had no contact with the family. I don't think they were aware that this was going on until this morning.
Wow. So the family didn't know.
At this point in time, Ms. Green will look into the case. We'll speak with Mr. Reiner. And if you have any further questions, reach out to our media team once we have more information ourselves. This just happened today, and my understanding is he was aware of it. Ms. Green spoke with him, as you heard. And as soon as we have more information that we can share, we will share it.
Thank you. No further questions at this time.
Thank you. You can direct any further questions to our media.
She said, no further questions. Get your ass out of there. Hey, shout out to them. I think they'll take this home. And we still have to wait until the arraignment, which is going to be on February 23rd. You'll know we will be talking about it here. We'll also have that live stream for you over on the Jury of Your Peers channel. So if you haven't checked out that channel, please make sure y'all go in the description, click the link that is in the pinned comment as well, and check out that channel. We'll be live streaming over there too. All right, so we've got some more information about what's going on with this Nick Reiner case. And specifically when it comes to Nick Reiner, why did Alan Jackson withdraw? He gave a little bit of insight into maybe why he felt that way, but we're actually going to hear from Harvey over at TMZ that there is a lot more information behind the scenes and potentially could be the reason why Alan Jackson withdrew from this. One of those reasons being that the family doesn't want to pay for his attorney. And we know Alan Jackson, he does not come cheap. So check this out from News Nation. Let's hear what Harvey has to say about Alan Jackson and his removal or his withdrawal from this case. Check it out.
Have you had a chance to talk to Alan Jackson at all and find out what's behind this move?
I think what's behind the move is a very complex issue with this family. That they have lost their parents in a brutal way at the hands of their flesh and blood. So, again, when you think about them saying what we want is justice, they never define justice. And frankly, Ashley, from what I'm hearing, that's not an easy thing for them to define. They want justice for their parents, but there's also something big that is going on with Nick in terms of mental health. It is why Alan Jackson got in front of the cameras after he withdrew today, or on Wednesday, and said that Nick Reiner will be found not guilty of murder. He is saying that not because he's arguing that
I agree
the Reiners did not die at the hands of Nick. He's saying it because where this case has been going, Ashley, is not guilty by reason of insanity. And that's where this case is heading. And it has to do with mental health. And it has to do with allegations that the mental health system has shockingly failed Rob, Michelle, and Nick Reiner.
Well, I know that your special that's coming out on Friday, TMZ investigates the Reiner murders, what really happened. You've uncovered some critical evidence, I think, to the very point you're making right now, and that is not guilty to some people doesn't incorporate the not guilty by reason of insanity. Doesn't mean you didn't commit the crime. It just means you're not mentally capable of being guilty by reason of law. So can you share anything or at least tell us a little bit about what you've uncovered in the special?
I can be specific. So a month before the murders, Nick was on antipsychotic meds. Nick had been diagnosed around 2020 with a form of schizophrenia. We know this. It is called schizoaffective disorder. It is a severe form of schizophrenia that not only involves psychosis, delusions, but also involves severe mood disorders.
Also, not to mention, speaking of this, this can be brought on as a result of certain medications as well. So keep that in mind. Harvey's going to get into it in a second. But with that drug abuse, with the alcohol abuse, now we're leading up to schizophrenia or being diagnosed with schizophrenia. Could be a result of many different things, not just necessarily a purely biological chemical imbalance, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Delusions, but also involves severe mood disorders. And when you combine the two, it becomes volcanic. So Nick had been on antipsychotic meds for several years. And a month before the murders, what we are being told is those meds were working. They were working fine. There is for some reason, his doctors changed the meds.
Dang.
And it sent him into orbit.
And this is exactly what I thought when we first started covering this. This is exactly the thing I thought would be an issue. Because if we're hearing this, and if this is true, and if it comes out in evidence, there's going to be a major issue, not only with the doctor with malpractice, but with the medication itself. Obviously, they'll go after the doctor first, but there could be another lawsuit there, in my opinion, as well.
He became delusional.
Sheesh.
He became dangerous. The Reiners saw it. They were alarmed. It built and built and built the month before the murders. And it all revolved around a change in the meds. Now, what I am told, Ashley, I'm going to tell you what I know and what I don't know. What I'm told is that there was absolutely no justification to change the meds. And the reason it was changed, I am told, would shock you, would absolutely shock you. That you can't even look at logic to understand it. As to what it is specifically, my sources will not say.
Wow.
But they know something about the change in these meds. And I have confirmed this with others too, that the meds did change and he just went off the rails. And so there is something about that change that directly connects to Nick's state the night of those murders.
Thank you for watching. Scary, man. That is so scary. And again, can you imagine how many people are dealing with this issue just walking the streets? We saw, again, this man maybe was a little bit different situation, but we saw what happened with Irina Zaruska. Poor girl just sitting on the train looking at her phone, gets stabbed multiple times. I mean, it's so scary to think that there's just people out there who are on these medications, changing their medications, and could snap at any time. Mr. Brown said in the chat, a walking time bomb. Let's get into this video, talking more about maybe what happened with Alan Jackson and why he withdrew as counsel as well. Here we go.
Shift away from it for a moment. We haven't talked about it on the show today, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you on this Nick Reiner case. So this is Rob Reiner's son, accused of murder. And the development, it was crazy today because that guy, Alan Jackson, high-profile attorney, was his lawyer, remember? And they were supposed to have a hearing today. Next thing you know, they delay, and Jackson's not representing him anymore. And I guess it's going to be a public defender. I mean, I looked at that. I said, boy, that is quite a twist. What's going on here?
Okay, so let me give the caveat. I can't say definitively why he stepped down, but I'm trying to read between the lines, right? Now, he said there's some reason he just cannot represent him. Now, he also apparently said that, print this, Nick Reiner is not guilty. So what do I think happened here? Could it be an issue of can he pay Alan Jackson, and can he pay for the experts that are needed in this case? Remember, he didn't say he didn't do it. He said he's not guilty. That's a legal term. I've always said that I think they're moving forward with a mental health defense, with an insanity defense. And one of the questions that I had has been, first of all, how is Nick Reiner going to be paying for his legal team? But more importantly, if you're talking about a defense of insanity, and this is based so much on mental health experts, if he can't afford it, if he can't pay for these experts, then that could be a problem. Now, I don't know for sure. I don't know if there was some sort of other conflict that Alan Jackson had, but this was a very high-profile case. And
Jackson's
incredible attorney, so I
top
thought
of the
that might be
line,
what might be going on.
In terms of what he charges, I was reading something. He charges a ridiculous amount. I mean, he's a top of the line guy.
Top of the line guy, and this is not to go against public defenders, but this is an attorney that you definitely want in your corner. And sometimes you have high profile attorneys who will take these kinds of cases on a different kind of basis, a contingency basis. They might take it on a pro bono basis. But if this is a situation where it is going to go on for quite some time and is going to be complicated, they need to be paid for it, and they need to pay for the experts. And if that becomes an issue where that wasn't available, that may be
right,
what's
we don't
going
know.
on.
But
Again, think about this case if we're talking about a drug change. There's going to be a battle of pharmaceuticals and attorneys versus a patient. Because then you're going to have, as I mentioned, the malpractice lawsuits that's going to come out of this and many, many other situations. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of people during this trial talking about medications, medication changes, how that affects, studies that have been done, Nick Reiner's behavior, what's seen from his reports. So much.
This could really change the case, is your point.
Of course. I mean, having Alan Jackson, who, by the way, not only represented Karen Reed, but
he
Kevin
was good
Spacey,
in the Karen
right?
Reed.
Got him cleared too.
Remember, yeah, Kevin Spacey. The Karen Reed thing, because it was televised and everything. I mean, that was some serious legal work, right?
It was serious legal work. And remember what Alan Jackson said at the beginning of the Nick Reiner case. He said there was complex and serious issues. To say that at the very beginning, before you look at any of the evidence, you're not talking necessarily about some sort of constitutional violation. You're talking, again, I think a mental health defense, which is complicated, and particularly in a case like this where it is being reported that Nick Reiner suffered from schizophrenia, and you're going to be dealing with a lot of different issues about that.
Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments and in the chat. We're going to follow this case moving forward. I think it's going to be so interesting to see how this plays out with the not guilty. If it goes to trial, how the jury is going to view this entire situation. And Alan Jackson, again, providing some good, what do we call it? Some good background information leading into jury selection, because I'm sure being in the California area, a lot of people are going to be talking about this and see that as well. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. Thank y'all for the love, man. We still got over 6,000 of y'all in here. Please like the video if you haven't yet. Thank y'all for the support. Man, can you imagine? This whole situation is just really sad if you think about it. Because you have this man that was clearly had some mental health issues, clearly was dealing with a lot. And then you have the family who, quote unquote, wants justice, but they also, this is the son, this is the sister who's left, that's her brother. I had a friend that committed murder at a train station in Jersey City years ago, unprovoked and completely unwarranted, but he was on the psychosis meds as well. They changed his meds due to his insurance. See, I can't imagine that would be the situation for Nick Reiner. But a sudden change in meds, it seems wild, especially when it comes to something that affects your mind. Whew. Within 2 weeks, he was in the news for murder. Sad issue these people are going through, and they can't help it. A lot of these people are fighting demons, if we're going to be real. Sad thing is, so much is going on that the story like this happens on a Monday and is old news by Wednesday. But these people need real help. I agree. My friend did 3 years in the state institution and was released. Back in the streets and haven't heard from him since. Hope he is doing well. I hope he's doing well. Hopefully the people around him are safe. That's so wild to me. It's so wild to me to think that there's just someone who's been found guilty of that crime, clearly committed that type of crime, and it's just, you know, well, walking around in the street. And especially if I would be interested to see that case and what actually went down. Because was there information on like why this happened other than the medicine change? Because I mean, what are you going to put him in there for 3 years and say, it was just a medication change. Let's put him in an institution. They should be fine. Get out of their system. But somebody died. Wow. Trust me, my thoughts exactly. The victim's family wanted blood. Elderly banker for JP Morgan just headed to work. Sheesh. I mean, again, Irina Zaruska. That was a little bit of a different situation. Obviously, this man was demonic who murdered Irina in cold blood. Obviously, this man was someone who should have been in jail for a long time ago. But goodness gracious. I'll have to look that one up. You said Elgin, Taylor, Jersey City train murder. I wonder if that I would be interested to see if that case was televised or live streamed in some way. That happened back in 2011. Goodness, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's definitely something we're going to get into. All right, we got one more topic for y'all. And then, as I mentioned, it's going to be a shorter show today, but this one's a quick segment. And I wanted to talk about this because it's something that we've been following for what seems like years now. Fani Willis, Steve Sadow, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, and this entire election interference case. We've been following it here, especially with me being in Fulton County, on what's been going on with this situation. Fani Willis royally fumbled this entire indictment. Let's be real. Indicted the former president of the United States at the time for election fraud, election interference. Then went down the line, found out she had a relationship with Nathan Wade, inappropriate relationship that led to the case being taken away from her. She had to go before a committee and explain why she did what she did. Then the case was sent to a prosecutor. Prosecutor took the case. He looked at it and said, man, get this out of here. I'm not trying this case. It was dismissed. Fani Willis lost. Now, President Donald Trump, and not just President Donald Trump, but everyone who was involved in this case wants to get their money back. And they're saying, hey, Fulton County, y'all need to figure out how you're going to pay us. District Attorney's Office, Fani Willis's pillow. I don't care, but I want my money in the tune of $6 million, millions and millions and millions of dollars, as the president would say. So let's go to 11 Alive here and find out exactly what he's asking for and how they're planning on getting it. I know Steve Sadow wants to get his money. Let's see what they say.
An hour ago, we learned attorneys for President Donald Trump are seeking more than $6.2 million in legal fees from Fulton County. 11 Alive's Grace King joining us now. Grace, you covered this case from the beginning for us, in and out of court. And a new law here in Georgia is really allowing attorneys who represented these clients to recoup some legal fees. So what do we know about what's going on right here now?
Well, the new law says there's two requirements for attorneys in these cases to try and file it. So it has to be a prosecutor disqualified for misconduct, which we did see here with District Attorney Fani Willis. You also have to have the charges dismissed in the election case. We saw that here as well. If both of those requirements are met, attorneys are able to file motions to recoup reasonable legal fees. Now, it's up to a judge to decide what reasonable is. Some of these attorneys bill $300 an hour or upwards of that. The judge will decide, yes, you could have spent those many hours, but we're going to pay you back at this rate, or we might pay you back for half of those hours. That will be up to Judge Scott McAfee to decide. But this is the first of all of these filings just for the attorneys that represented President Donald Trump. They're asking for $6.2 million alone, but they could have.
And I will say this, Judge Scott McAfee is about sick of this DA's office when it comes to this case. He has already given them a lot of smoke talking about what he heard during the Senate hearing about the monies they were getting paid, how things were going. So I don't think Scott McAfee is going to be too gracious to them in this case.
Of course, also see more motions from the other attorneys. There were 19 defendants in this case. The other attorneys could then go say, you know, President Trump's case costed $6.2 million, but our clients costed this much more. So we could see them trying to recoup a lot more. Steve Sadow, President Trump's attorney, he said that could be upwards of $10 million.
Yeah, so we knew that this was on the way. It was really just a question of what was that dollar figure going to look like. And this is just one small piece of the puzzle as we now have to see what these other attorneys ask for. And this money is coming from Fulton County's district attorney's office, correct?
That's the way the laws are written. So we still have to see how exactly that will get paid out. Again, the reasonable is going to be the big discretion here. If it is $6.2 million plus all the other defendants or more, we also know the Fulton County.
And with that, we've reported on that as well. What's most likely to happen if Judge Scott McAfee, the Honorable Judge Scott McAfee, actually allows and actually rules that this is going to be paid, it'll most likely come out of Fani Willis's budget, which she's already been complaining since she's been in office that she doesn't have enough money. She doesn't have enough resources. She doesn't have enough staff. So how that's going to work out, we'll have to wait
how
and see.
exactly that will get paid out. Again, the reasonable is going to be the big discretion here. If it is $6.2 million plus all the other defendants or more, we also know the Fulton County District Attorney, their budget from Fulton County this year is $40.4 million. So if you're talking about $10 million just for this case alone, one of every $4 allocated to the DA's office from Fulton County taxpayers this year could be spent repaying this case.
That is a significant portion. Grace, thank you so much. We know we'll see you with much more later this evening.
So let's hear from Atlanta News First. They've actually got a little bit more information on what exactly, specifically, President Donald Trump's attorney is asking for. Steve Sadow. Here we go.
Tonight, President Trump is using a Georgia law to demand that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis pay more than $6 million in legal fees. Atlanta News First anchor Victor Williams is live at the Fulton County Courthouse after speaking to the chairman of the Fulton County Board of Commissioners. So, Victor, we hear you had a chance to look through the demands of this lawsuit.
Yeah, that's right, Tracy. And there's a whole lot going on with this motion. As you guys can see, it's a very thick stack of paper here, but it's the chairman of the Board of Commissioners here in Fulton County that's saying the taxpayers are the ones who are going to have to actually be responsible for that.
I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but it's just a reality. It happened. The courts are involved now. The judge has made a ruling.
Fulton County once again in the national spotlight. This time, President Trump is demanding $6.2 million in legal fees from Fani Willis's office as the county's district attorney after the election interference case brought against him and others was dismissed. The chairman of Fulton County's Board of Commissioners, Rob Pitt, says that allowed the defendants to request the money that they spent on the case back.
We knew that based upon the statute, the President Trump and the other defendants had 45 days to submit their bills to Judge McAfee. Apparently, President Trump's lawyers were the first ones to do so.
The judge involved in the case will have to review the request to make the final determination of all the fees that have to be paid. But Pitt says it's coming out of the prosecutor's operating budget, meaning it's the taxpayers that will ultimately be the ones responsible for what President Trump is now demanding.
Again, hey, I support the president, but man, why do I have to pay for this? Right here in Fulton County, as many of y'all know. Gosh, man, Fani Willis, again, she was voted in. 62% of Fulton County said that they wanted her in. Can the 38%, can we at least get a discount on our taxes? Can we maybe just pay half of that since we didn't want her in office again? Dang.
That's on top of what other defendants involved may demand too.
It's the taxpayers of Fulton County that will be footing the bill, whatever the bill happens to be in the final analysis. I calculated early on, based upon the number of high-priced $1,000 plus lawyers per hour that they were using, that the final tab is going to be, my guess, in the range of $10 million to $15 million.
High number, but of course we reached out to the offices of Fani Willis to get her side of the story and a comment on this matter, but at this time of the night we have yet to hear anything back. But this is a situation that we are going to closely monitor.
Yeah, what are you expecting? Fani Willis to take accountability? Yeah, right. She's going to say, you know what? There were criminals that came into my county and they were trying to mess up the election. Now we found out that, oh, actually, Rudy Giuliani was right about what was happening during the election. There were some votes that weren't technically certified, so there's that. Fani Willis is not going to take accountability. What's she going to give a statement for? She's going to blame somebody else and stand 10 toes down and say, hey, this is what y'all elected me for. This is why I'm here, to go against these crooks and criminals who are coming into our county and trying to win votes, who tried to overturn the election. Yeah, so nope, I'm not going to apologize. Sorry, y'all. You got to pay. It's a part of the process. Blame the people up top. Blame the powers that be, because this black Democrat woman ain't doing nothing, man. Can't stand it. But hey, the process is the process. Me and Amy, we got to pay for it. It is what it is. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. There's so much we could talk about when it comes to Fulton County. So much going on here. Y'all know we're going to keep you up to date on that. Sad, man. Sad, sad, sad. Cat Not Williams is in here. What's up, Cat? Said Fulton couldn't even put together $280. So yeah, Cat, how do you think things are going to go tomorrow? Cat just dropped the video. I believe it was either yesterday or today, talking about what Judge Whitaker told Fani Willis she has to do with Young Thug stuff. We'll probably talk about that in a live stream tomorrow. But make sure, if y'all haven't, go check out that video from Cat Not Williams. I think, Cat, you did a live stream on it. I believe I missed it, though. Yeah, Fulton County is fun times here. Isn't that what Fani Willis said? Fun times. It was fun times. Oh, man, I hope they pass this flat tax. Maybe that could take care of the discrepancies in the DA's office. Kat says, I wish I could watch them today. Lord have mercy. All right, y'all. I know it was a quick live stream. We're going to get up out of here. We'll be dropping some clips later on for y'all throughout the day. Thank you to everybody who liked the video. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Brown, for dropping the super chat in there as well. I see you, Mr. Brown, showing some love. No comment. Not even saying anything, just support. Always good to see you in here. And we're still praying for a speedy recovery for you as well. Kat said, I just watched them get it all together. Jewelry clanging around. What, you think Fani Willis is actually going to do what she's supposed to do? She's above Judge Whitaker. Did you not know this, Kat? Fani Willis doesn't have to listen to Judge Whitaker. She can do what she wants. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We'll definitely be up to date on it, as y'all know. Hope y'all have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your afternoon, great rest of your morning. As always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We out of here. Peace.